Alta Architects is an old established firm in San Antonio and Bexar County. We've been around for over 95 years. In that time period, we've really gotten to work on some incredibly impactful projects in and around the city of San Antonio and Bexar County. We do a lot of work that's culturally based. And so we kind of like the thread to San Antonio, the mix of, the Latino culture and the Anglo culture. And so the idea that Alta kind of talked about elevated architecture or high architecture, kind of elevating the design, we thought was a nice idea. It's pretty relaxed here, I think, which is one of the things that's really nice about the office. It's a fairly flat organization. It's not like people talking from above saying, you shall do this. I think it's very collaborative. We have a lot of passionate discussions about things that we feel strongly about. And I think one of the other nice things about the culture is that almost everybody here listens to each other, right? So you hear people out and you take the best parts of everybody's ideas and you meld them together into a single direction and we move forward with it. And it's really fun. The thing that I really like about the culture here, in addition to the spirited design conversations that we all have, we've got a good group of people now. I honestly believe that the group we have here now is probably the strongest I've seen in my entire, whatever it is, 26, 27 years working here. It's like everybody is strong. I don't feel like there are any weak links. It's really nice. The thing that I like the most about the culture is that it's a little bit relaxed. I personally don't want to work in a super duper corporate environment. And so it doesn't feel that way here, right? We've set it up in a way that I think everybody feels really comfortable. We allow people a lot of flexibility to work from home when they've got things going on. And then the place itself it is fantastic. So we moved here at the beginning of 2021. So we got here, it's got beautiful light, the materials are beautiful. It's an Old Pickle Factory, which I think is hilarious and I love it. And so everybody's space is really nice. We've got great outdoor spaces where we have events, and I think those have been really, really fun. We invite our clients and the people that we work with to come in, and everybody's always amazed at how beautiful the space is. We've gotten to work on some big projects for the city of San Antonio. We did a branch library that's right on the doorstep of Mission San Jose, probably the prettiest of all the missions, in my opinion. It's immediately adjacent to that. And we took our cues from the design, not just the design elements on the mission, but also the local craftsmen that work in and around the San Antonio area. So we kind of drew on this long history of the tradition of craft in San Antonio, but transformed that into a very modern, cutting-edge library building down there. And it actually won a national AIA and a National American Library Association award for the design. I think people realize that San Antonio has a lot of great craft, and the way we kind of recombined it into a very contemporary form resonated with people in a big way. We worked on the convention center expansion, which actually extended the San Antonio River up into Hemisphere Park. Really fantastic, game-changing project for the city of San Antonio. We just finished the federal courthouse project, which is part of the Design Excellence Program. That's a really, difficult opportunity to come by. The GSA is very selective on the teams that get to do their design excellence projects across the country. And so it was a real honor to get to work on that project. And it's kind of transformative project that's changed the face of the west side of downtown over there. It's going to be a catalyst for other developments, the San Pedro Creek improvements. Interestingly, it's a drainage project. It's to deal with flood control in the downtown area. But because the county had this foresight and this vision, they chose to make it something bigger, right? Where we got to really design pathways along the creek, which basically creates another linear park that runs through downtown. I think of it as kind of the corollary or a cousin to the San Antonio Riverwalk. Has a slightly different feel, but it's kind of equally interesting. Great art projects happen along it. Again, a super transformative project for San Antonio's downtown. and for Bexar County citizens. I think it's been a super fun project to work on. One other really interesting project we've had the privilege of working on was creating a new campus for Texas A&M here in San Antonio at Texas A&M San Antonio. We did the first 4 buildings on their campus, including the Central Academic Building, which is really the main building and will always be the main building on the campus. It's the kind of sits at the heart of what will be the future build out for the campus. And it was fun getting to establish the architectural character for everything that will come after us. Again, we drew real heavily on a lot of the local great landmarks here and other craft elements in San Antonio, the history and tradition of craftsmanship in San Antonio. It's got beautiful sandstone, a San Saba sandstone rubble, which is the same stone that you see on the wall that surrounds Mission San Jose immediately adjacent to it. And interestingly, it's a very affordable material, right? So it's got this great history. It's very beautiful. It's golden. It really speaks to the south side of San Antonio, where the campus is, in contradiction to limestone, which is more into the hill country area. So it's really strongly about place, being in South San Antonio there. And it's got that tie back to the missions themselves, particularly Mission San Jose, which really kind of start to define the character there. County judge came to us at one point and said, I've got this idea. I want to do a bookless library. And he's like, I need y'all to come up with some things. I need you to come up with some graphics for it, some plans, right? Just give me a quick plan so that I can kind of get the process rolling. He said, here's where we're going to build the first one. It's in an existing building. It's not a fancy building. It's an old, Wynn's, which is an old 5 and dime store on the south side of San Antonio. And it was going to be a little interior finish out project. So we came up with a floor plan for it. But I think more importantly than just coming up with the floor plan, we really said, in order to make this concept sing, it's got to be more than just a bookless library. So we created a kit of parts, a design kit of parts that I think speak to the people who are going to use it. It speaks to young and old alike, and really created this kind of interesting and I think beautiful design concept for the interior of it. And then in-house, we also started throwing around ideas for names for the project, because we thought, I can't just call it the Bexar County Bookless Library. That's not super exciting. So again, I think after work, we were sitting around with a couple of the guys, and the idea of creating the Bibliotech came out, right? And so we loved that idea because it's a combination of biblioteca from the Spanish, so that we're tapping into the Latino heritage here in San Antonio where we live, but it's also got the technology part in the name, right? And so we came up with a great, actually I say we, I can't take credit for it. Chris Gutierrez came up with a fabulous graphic for it. So we ended up doing all this branding. We actually created a mascot for him called Tech Alote, right? So again, technology. And it's like the owl, and we like the owl because the owl is always a symbol of intelligence. And so we love the idea that people would come in here, learn how to use the computers, and they could also access the whole world of the internet from within these bibliotheques. I really do believe that the branding and the look are as important as that original idea, because people go in and they see it, and it's different than an Apple store, but it has that same feel in the sense that it's got a very distinctive look. It's very high tech. It's kind of clean and fun. It's got a little bit of some pops of color. And again, when people go in one, they know they're in a bibliotheque. So now we're actually getting ready to work on our 4th or 5th one. I'm losing count at this point. And the county has a great program. They go and they put them in buildings that are already built, so it's more of just a finish out, but they're distributing them all around Bexar County so that people in all parts of our area have access to computers, right? They can check out readers. It's a fabulous program. And the director of the program, it's been so wildly successful that she's actually gone as far away as Amsterdam to give lectures on what the county has done with the bibliotheques. People calling her from all over the country saying, yeah, we want to put a bibliotech in Portland. We want to put a bibliotech in Laredo. And so they're scratching their heads trying to figure out, well, are we franchising this? How is this working? But that's a great problem to have. Everybody, looks at the Bibliotech as this super successful program, and they want to emulate it. Most all the credit goes to Nelson Wolff, the Judge Wolff, for coming up with the idea. But I do like to think that in some small part, the design and the name and the look and the overall branding plays a part in what has made these things so successful. We will do projects of different types if the opportunity comes along. But we do K through 12 schools, right? A passion of ours. We do a lot of higher education work. We are starting to do quite a bit of healthcare work. We do multifamily housing. And we do lots of governmental institutional projects, like for Bexar County and the city of San Antonio, things like libraries and projects like that. And the reason that we've done that is because it gives us some diversification. There are some firms that really, really focus on doing only K through 12 schools or only science and technology projects. By being involved in these different markets, it allows us to stay a strong, robust, and healthy firm, right? So that we're not having to hire people and let people go, right? That's the last thing in the world we want to do. We're building a family, and so we want everybody to stay here. And so I think we've got people who are working in these different markets, and each person feels as passionately about what they're doing as I do about the higher ed stuff that I get to do.